Hey, got another question here that came in. It's kind of random, but I get what they're asking. Hey, welcome to another one of Todd's 2-Minute Tech Tip Tuesday.
Brought to you by the National RV Training Academy.
Hey, before we get to the video, which I know this is the reason why you're here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss anything. Hit the subscribe button now. Thank you. Now, back to our Tech Tip Tuesday.
Grounding in RVs. 12-volt, inverter grounding, generator grounding, and shore power grounding. How do they all work together? All right. Well, we want one ground, one path home, right? We don't want to create what we call a ground loop. So there's one path home. Since the RV is not actually connected to the ground itself, in other words, we got rubber tires and everything else, even with our landing gear down, if there's some type of limited contact, it is not sufficient to be ground. So we use the frame as the term grounding. In other words, that is a ground for high voltage. If there's voltage leaking, we want it to go to the frame, and the frame connected to a proper grounded power cord that sends it back to the master panel, right? In a previous video, if it's not the same, we understand that that electricity wants to get back to the neutral in that transformer. Ground is a secondary path home. That means there has to be a bonding somewhere, okay? 12 volts, inverters or whatnot, we use the frame as the ground path on the 12-volt side. Okay, now 12 volts, electricity actually passes through the frame. That is the path, but it's 12 volts, right? We can touch the frame all day long, low voltage, 12 volts passing through it, no big deal. On the 120 volt side, we still use the same frame grounded, but guess what? There's no electricity passing through ground, right? It is not load bearing. It is there as an emergency, okay? If power goes through it, is there a potential that 120 volts passing through the frame could cause problems on the 12 volt side? If it's extended, absolutely. Right? I think that's where the question is. Hey, Todd, how does 120 volts and 12 volts pass through the same frame? Well, again, grounding on the 120 volt side, there's no electricity passing through it. Shouldn't be, right? If it is, it's only passing through fast enough or long enough for the breaker to trip, right? We want to, hopefully it overloads the breaker trips. Could that potential time, that small time frame, cause 12-volt electrical issues? Yes. But understand that the ground for the 120 volts, no load. It's there as a backup. 12-volt side, when you say inverter, we'll say on the DC side, yes, it is touching the frame. That is the conduit for electricity to pass from the battery to the inverter, from the inverter over to the high-volt stuff back, but then bring those electrons back over on the positive wire. So yes, they do work together, but remember, one is a conductive path or a load bearing path, 12 volt side. 120 volt side is there for emergency. I think that may be the answer to, if that's not the right way to read your question, then I invite you to reword it. There's your tech tip.
All right, before you get to the bloopers, which is why you're here in the first place, the RV industry needs thousands of RV technicians and inspectors, and now is the perfect time to do that. If you want to make more money or have more control over your time, go ahead and click the link below. Or if you just want to learn how to fix your own RV, got something for you there. Head over to rvtechcourse.com and get started today.
Now for the reason that you're at the end of the video, roll the bloopers. Ooh, let me try that one. Right, to go ahead.